Okay, when will I know I have absolute pitch? For those of you that have relative pitch, um, or a very good relative pitch, you should be able to do this very quickly and easily because of the fact that you already have a good open ear. If you can recognize dominant 7, 9, sharp 9 chords, or anything that's really out of the ordinary for the average musician. I mean those by just regular simple major minor chords or dominant 7 chords. If you can if you can distinguish a diminished chord and be able to name the tones, it'll make it obviously much easier for you to recognize the fact that you already know this, as opposed to those who have a hard time even being able to recognize simple major and minor chords. Now, once you're able to actually recognize the tone names and be able to name them, and then you feel enough confidence in them, know already that you do know it. Now, how accurately you land on it every single time will depend on how much time and practice you put into it. Most people think that because a child learned absolute pitch when they were young, but they don't talk to them until they're already adults and they've been studying music this whole time. They've had years of practice utilizing their absolute pitch. So it seems very natural for them, and people say, well, you'll never forget it. Well, if you spent 5, 6, 7, 10 years doing something, yes, it's going to be very difficult for you to forget it. You know what I mean? So if you take an adult or somebody who's been practicing and applying absolute pitch for a very long time, yes, that's where all these crazy notions of that, oh, you could just sing this one tone and know all this information, it doesn't work that way. They had to build it up and utilize it throughout many years to where they actually had it quickly and easily. Now, children have the luxury of not having to deal with a lot of other stuff. As kids, they might have school, but the schoolwork, at least not in the United States, is very difficult, and so they usually don't give them a lot of work when they go to school. They give them very little work. So they have all this extra time, and usually the adults, their parents, are usually constantly letting them know, hey, let's do this, hey, why don't we practice this, hey, let's try this out. So they have more time to actually utilize their absolute pitch. And they have more time to practice, especially once they notice that they have this skill, this ability. They tend to utilize it more often. We as adults have tons of other things to do, so we don't really have the opportunity to spend all this time on it. If you're a musician, this is why I'm releasing the information for musicians first, you will have more of an opportunity to apply it more often. But yet, if this is the first time you've actually ever realized the fact that you've acquired the skill, it's still going to take you time to be able to feel completely confident and secure in yourself to know that you know this. Okay, so give yourself the opportunity, and besides, this is just a basic form of it. There still has to be, the speed recognition of it. You still have to be able to, well, if you can hear clusters, if you can tell clusters in chords or in chords, you should be fine. If you have relative pitch, you'll be able to distinguish them out real quickly and easy, or at least a little bit quicker and easier than somebody who doesn't have that ability. It doesn't have that range of relative pitch. But then you still have, the doorbells, the car horns, the microwave beeps. You know what I mean? The hum of the refrigerators, things of that nature. You still have to develop more towards that. Children have spent years doing this, so yeah, when you ask them as adults, and they've been studying this for a very long time, it seems second nature to them. But if you're barely developing this, don't expect to automatically be there. It doesn't work that way. You still have to develop your skill. Okay? So realize that it is a skill that you have to acquire, learn, and then keep moving forward, developing it even better. This is just the very basic. It'll be easier for musicians. Doesn't mean it's automatically going to give you the ability to hear a car horn and say, oh, this is in this key. It'll make it much easier for you, or hear the hum of a refrigerator. You can, if you learn to separate just that tone that you're listening for and then internalize it within yourself and then match that tone. It'll make it much easier for musicians because they already have the skill set of of tone within themselves already. And if you have a decent relative pitch, it'll make it much quicker and easier for you to hear 2-3 tones and then say, okay, well, this is what the chord is, or this is what I'm hearing, and then translate that within, vocalize it within yourself, so that way you'll know. You might still have to do the vocal part first, and then do one tone, and then focus on that one tone. Quiet your mind and bring yourself to hear that tone, and then go back and say, okay, what was the name of that tone? Oh, okay, I got the name of the tone. This is the tone. Label it, go check it, and then go check it with the refrigerator or the car horn or whatever. Do it that way. So when will you know it? You'll know it as soon as you feel it within you, and you should feel it within you very quickly. The basic of it, not the overall universal absolute pitch. I'm not saying it's not going to be possible for anyone. I'm just saying that don't count on that being instantaneous. That part of it is going to take a while, depending on your level. Okay? All right.